Hi everyone, welcome to Grow Your Groceries with CaliKim. Today's episode is all about tomatoes. One of the most popular vegetables you can grow in your garden. You're gonna love growing your own. Super easy to grow from seed. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that today. Now I know you're here because you wanna grow your own fresh, tasty veggies. The cost of food is going up, and I'm gonna show you in this series how to grow, harvest, and eat from your own backyard and save money on food in the process. So today, how and when to start tomato seeds indoors, so when the weather warms up, you've got tomatoes to plant in your garden. So let me just share with you where we're going with this series. We're starting with the earliest veggies you can plant and grow indoors, onions last week, moving down through tomatoes, and then we'll work our way towards the veggies that don't need to grow as long inside. But today is all about the tomatoes. Don't you just love the flavor of a homegrown tomato? I know I do. It's one of my favorite things to grow in the garden. Tomatoes are a warm weather vegetable. They love those summer days of 70 to 95 degrees. And when you start your own from seed indoors, not only do you save a ton of money, you can grow lots of different varieties in the garden, but the biggest advantage is you've got to jump on the growing season. You're growing them inside when it's too cold to grow them outside. When the weather gets warm, you're going to have plants to put in the ground, which gets homegrown tomatoes on your plate sooner, and you are going to love it. I'm going to teach you how to start your tomato seeds right outdoors here in the chill zone. I thought you'd enjoy some California green. We'll take you inside in just a moment and show you where our tomato plants will be growing. Now, when you're starting tomatoes from seed indoors, the timing is critical. You want to start about 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date of the season. You can get this date over at almanac.com. You pop in your zip code to tell you what that date is, and you back up 6 to 8 weeks before that. And the reason why this is so important, if you start your seeds too far in advance of your last frost date, they'll outgrow their small little containers, they'll get root bound, the plants will just get way too big for you to manage inside, and they could possibly die. So 6 to 8 weeks is really the sweet spot. Your plants will be just the right size to pop out in the garden as soon as the weather gets warm. Now, if you live in an area where you have no frost, you want to start your seeds indoors about 6 to 8 weeks before the weather outside is consistently in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. You guys ready to get your tomato seeds planted? You're going to love growing these. The first thing you're going to need, though, are some containers. So you can look around your house, find some recycled containers if you want to. I really like these 6-cell little seed packs here. You can pick these up on Amazon. They're really nice because they have holes in the bottom for drainage. So whatever container you use, just make sure it's got those holes in it so your plants don't get root rot. Now what we're going to do is fill them with some seed starting mix. Now if you missed out on how to make seed starting mix, go back and watch the first video we did on planting onions. And great job if you got your onions planted. If you haven't yet though, go back and get them planted. It's definitely not too late to jump in. I put everything on one playlist, the Grow Your Groceries playlist on our YouTube channel. So you have everything you need right there. So I filled up my 6-pack here with a seed starting mix, and we're just going to pack it down in there. Add some more. You want your seeds to have really good contact with the soil so we don't have a lot of air holes. You can see my seed starting mix is nice and moist. It's about the consistency of crumbly brownie mix. It's nice and light, so the seeds don't have any trouble germinating. Making your own mix really saves you a lot of money. You can use bag potting mix if you want, but why not make your own? Because we're trying to save money on our food bill, right? Okay, so we've got our seed starting mix in there, and now we need some seeds. So we're going to work our way down through the Spring Garden seed collection. It has 13 varieties, which will give you a really nice jump on your garden grocery store. It's got 2 varieties of tomatoes, and these are one of my favorites. The first one is Golden Jubilee, and the second one is Marglobe. Now there's 2 different types of tomatoes, determinate and indeterminate. We're going to plant Golden Jubilee first. That's an indeterminate type tomato. An indeterminate tomato just means that the tomato grows for an indeterminate amount of time, basically grows all up until your first frost date in the fall when it gets too cold, and produces tomatoes all during that time and then dies when the weather gets too cold for it. So what I'm going to do is just drop 2 seeds in each little seed cell, 1 in each corner. That way you'll be ensured of a really good germination rate because you have 2 seeds in there and plenty of delicious Golden Jubilee tomatoes to eat. Now, the Golden Jubilee is a large beefsteak variety. It's orange, it's beautiful, it's sweet, it's definitely one of my favorites, and I know you're gonna love it too. And planting tomatoes from seed might seem intimidating to you because it's your very first time, but it's really very easy, and you're gonna absolutely love the variety of tomatoes you can grow when you start from seed. Because oftentimes the garden center doesn't have a huge variety of tomatoes to plant. And this way, the sky's the limit. You can just grow the rainbow. Now this one is the Marglobe tomato. It's called a determinate variety of tomato. And what that is determinate varieties are usually smaller tomato plants. They grow for a determined amount of time, and they produce all their tomatoes at once, and then the plant dies. The Marglobe tomato, however, is a larger determinate variety, can get 8 to 10 feet tall, but it's very productive. It will give you plenty of beautiful red slicing tomatoes for your garden. So if you like to have a whole bunch of tomatoes at once for sauces, you want to grow determinate varieties because they'll produce a whole bunch all at once for you. Now what I'm doing is just poking the seeds down into the soil. You don't need to go too deep, just about half the width of the seed or so. If you go too deep, sometimes they won't germinate. And that's pretty much all there is to planting tomato seeds. Super easy, don't you think? You are gonna love it. There's just something about the feeling of pride too, of planting the seed, nurturing it, watching it grow, knowing you grew your own groceries yourself. It's just a feeling that is so satisfying. You definitely want to label your tomato varieties because you're going to want to remember what varieties you have grown in the garden. So put our tags in. I like to date the back as well, so I know exactly when my seeds started and how long they took to grow. Now you definitely want to keep an eye on your little tomato seedlings as they grow. Make sure the top of the soil does not dry out. So get yourself a little spray bottle, kind of mist the top whenever it looks a light brown color, because the moisture is key in getting them to germinate. Now they should germinate within about 5 to 7 days. In about 3 weeks, you're gonna have little tiny tomato seedlings that look just like this. You're gonna love growing your own inside. Top priority though, in order to look like this, your seedlings are gonna need some light. So I'm gonna take you inside and show you my easy grow light setup. Let's go. Setting up indoor grow lights isn't near as hard as you think. I have a whole video on how to get them set up, and I popped that video in the Grow Your Groceries series, so you definitely want to go back and watch that for all the details. But these are a couple of my easy setups. This one that we're going to put our little tomato tray underneath is a really good one when you're growing several trays of plants here. All it is, you guys, is a shop light, special grow light bulb designed for growing vegetables, and it's hung over a PVC pole here, which is stuck in a gallon jug of sand. Makes it super easy to get a grow light set up for growing several trays of vegetables right here on your cabinet. It is important that you use grow lights when growing your indoor seedlings. A sunny window just isn't quite enough light. With grow lights, you're going to have much better results. Now you'll see I am using a heat mat to help germinate my tomatoes just a little bit quicker. This is optional for tomatoes, but right now in the wintertime, our house stays around 60, 65 degrees, and the heat mat just warms the tray up just that little bit so the tomatoes germinate a little bit quicker. Now, super important where you place your tomatoes. You want to put them under the grow light so they're just about 2 to 3 inches away, no more, because if they're too far away, when your seedlings sprout and germinate, they're going to get leggy and have small, tiny, weak stems because they're having to reach for the light. So what I like to do as the tomato plants grow is I'll remove these blocks of wood to accommodate the growing plants. And at this point, you leave your grow lights on for 18 hours a day, off for 6 hours a day, and I like to use a timer so it totally takes the guesswork out of when to turn them on and off. We're all here to grow our groceries together, and I'm going to play hardball with you. If you want to grow your groceries in 2023 with me, leave me a comment below stating so. I'll be looking for it, and while you're there, read through the comments. There's a ton of folks all over the world growing their groceries with us in 2023. You're gonna need seeds to grow your garden groceries. So here's what I've done for you. To take the guesswork out of it, I put 13 varieties together in this spring garden seed collection. So you have plenty of veggies to grow. You're gonna absolutely love growing your own. You can grab these over at CaliKimGardenandHome.com. If you prefer to read, you want to grab a copy of my book, Organic Gardening for Everyone. Tons of garden tips in here. I show you how to grow from seed to harvest and everything in between. You can grab them together as a bundle for $5 off. And then you can also get 20% off right now, site-wide, with the code Grow Your Groceries to help you save even more money on your garden grocery store. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.